Hey Nick, man, what's up?
Hey, not much. How you been?
Yeah, I'm good, man. We've known each other for a long time. I think you were, and maybe we were each other's one of the first followers. I remember you from like my very, very early days on Twitter.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was like 20, I mean it was like the 2010s. It's a long time ago,
No,
yeah.
no, not 2010s, but yeah. Um, was it maybe from the Indie Hackers website, I guess, at the time?
Yeah,
That's,
yeah, I think so. I got featured there. That was 2021 maybe.
yeah,
And I think I came across you. There's a kind of whole community that you probably know about. It's kind of been
yeah,
hanging
yeah.
on with that circle for a while. And I've been part of that, I don't know for the beginning, but for a long time now, a lot of years.
So like actually that's interesting. Like how did you start? What's your journey to indie hacking?
Yeah, I graduated from college, went to grad school, dropped out, decided that academia, that just wasn't for me. I just spent all the class time just tweaking different websites and ideas. So I used a
Yeah.
lot of no code tools. I don't code, I don't even vibe code, but I was using Zapier like, I don't know, 10 years ago.
Okay.
My Zapier account's really old. So like I've been building with no code stuff for a really, really long time. Just tinkering on my own. I mean, as a kid, I made tons of websites all the time, every day. I love doing that. Graduated from college, like I said, dropped out of grad school, built an agency called Peoplefish, and
Yeah.
did that for a long time. Sold
What
that,
was
and
that
I
about?
yeah, that was a market research firm. So like we built surveys. I say we, it was almost only me, but I built surveys, launched those surveys, gather results, analyze the results, sent the results to the customers, to my
Yeah.
clients. I learned how to do that in like 6 months at my first job out of college, and then I quit and just did that same work for myself. So
Okay, so always kind of like freelancing, never really had a real job or anything.
I just had a job very short after college, yeah, for like a year total, before I just quit to start working for myself. So I didn't do well in a job. I never did well in a job, but my startups always did pretty well. So I just stick to that.
Oh well, that's awesome. That's
Yeah.
cool, because yeah, if you always had some money with startups and from an early age, I guess it doesn't even make sense to think of a job. Like, because I
Yeah.
guess the older you are, maybe it's the more difficult because if you had a lot of time having a job, then it seems more safe and comfortable.
I think so. Yeah. 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 My dad was an entrepreneur too. And I remember I was like 23. I hated my job. I wasn't doing well. And he's like, you should just quit and start a business. I was like, I thought my dad would give me the opposite advice, but he gave
Yeah,
me
me
that.
too. That's like, holy shit, he's a cool dad. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad
Yeah.
he did. And it worked out. He always says like, money's it's not the most important thing.
Yeah.
And it works out like, I mean, there were times it was tough, but I just worked really hard. And like I said, the first one was pretty successful. It wasn't what I wanted. It turned into something I didn't necessarily want to be doing every day.
Yeah.
But my new thing is right down the line of what I want to be doing. So
So what's that? Oh, wait, before that. Uh, and how was your dad when you was in school? Like, did he say, yeah, you don't have to get good grades, it doesn't matter? Or like, how was it?
kind
Because,
of. Well, he never pushed me on stuff. He just,
yeah,
he was his entrepreneur, so I just watched him do a lot of his work. Like he did a
yeah.
lot of it from our basement, an office in our basement. He started an internet company in like 1990s, so he bought me
Wow.
a website. I was like 8 or 9. I built it back then. So yeah, I'm really grateful for that. But it was, yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of always like I always had in my mind, like you could work at a job or you could make your own job. And it was kind of like, for me, it was like 50-50. So I'm glad I grew up that way.
That's awesome. I tweeted something a couple of days ago. I said, because I think of it a lot, and I think because we are taught to have jobs, but basically everything that we are taught in normal circumstances, you had
Yeah.
like your dad that taught you the opposite, so that's good. But like in normal circumstances, you're taught to not take any risk. You're taught to, obey and everything, follow orders. So like, because I think like being an entrepreneur isn't that hard. It's not rocket science. It's just that since it's the opposite of what we've been taught, like it's so
Yeah.
scary and
Yeah. It's
stressful,
scary.
and so it becomes way harder than it needs to be. Because like if we were taught from like school to work this way, we will just all do that, because it's not that
Yeah.
hard, you
Yeah,
know?
I agree. I agree. Yeah, when I quit my job in DC, that I had right after school, all my coworkers, like I saw them a year later, I went to a wedding, and they were all
Yeah.
like, dude, like, how do you find, like, everybody asked me the same question. They said, how do you find customers? I'm like, I don't know how to answer that question. I just, you just put yourself out there, you market, you talk to people, you make phone calls,
Yeah.
cold
Yeah.
calls. So, um, it's funny that that was always the question because that's kind of like the big black box. Like that's the hard part. But I don't have an answer for it. It's just that's the work. That's the work you got to do. So,
Yeah, definitely. And where are you located?
Florida, Jacksonville, Florida.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, I haven't been to Jacksonville, but went to Florida once. Really loved it. Really loved the vibe.
Yeah,
Um,
it's nice. It's nice.
yeah, I expected it to be more superficial because and shallow, because when you look at, TV, you see, all these bodybuilders and like, people on the beach, and it seems like that's
Yeah.
what it's about, but it's actually super chill and people are so nice. I was very surprised. So,
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah. Oh,
yeah,
totally. Yeah, yeah. It's not I like it here. I grew up in Washington, D.C., so it was a lot bigger.
yeah,
I still like kind of the city vibe, but yeah, Jacksonville's been great. I've been here a long time now.
that's awesome. Is that like a west coast or east coast of Florida?
That's northeast. So it's like a very
Okay,
top
so
corner,
you're on the
almost outside.
Atlantic.
Yeah,
What was
yeah,
that?
yeah. Yeah, it's almost outside of Florida. It's up near the Georgia, which is the next state up.
Oh, I see. Okay, cool. Awesome. So you were saying a bit earlier that you have reached the stage where the product you're working on now is something you really love and you really enjoy. So
Yeah,
how did
absolutely.
you get there, and what's the product?
Yeah, so the product is called StampFans. I'll start with the first question, why I enjoy it more. It's because it's
Yeah,
not a service business. I started like, I definitely fit kind of an indie hacker mold because I built a lot of self-serve tools for my customers to use for my first
yeah,
business, but they didn't use it. They always just reached out to me and wanted me to do it for them. So I did it. I wish I had just said no. I wish I had focused on making the tool better. But I did. I ended up just doing a lot of custom work every single day. It
yeah.
was
I
for my
see. I
brand. It
see.
was my company, but it's not what I set out to do. And I had spent a lot of time building those tools that they get halfway through and they get fed up and they just call me at. So it wasn't ideal. I didn't like that. I get phone calls all the time. This Stamp Fans is way different. There's a more kind of narrow, workflow for the users, and it works. I mean, I hardly get any questions about it. Here and there, there's some issues, but I like building the product. I don't necessarily like, just working with like troubleshooting all day or doing custom work because I put a lot of work into this. So it's called Stamp Fans. It's like Patreon for snail mail or Substack for snail mail. It's a way to connect with your audience on a much deeper level than just, your profile picture and a little tiny Instagram post. This is real mail that shows up at your subscriber's house. They have to subscribe, and there's a cost to that, but it's free for the creators. They don't pay anything. We keep a fee from every subscriber per month. Everything on top of that fee, the creators keep. So they might charge, $4 a month to send. You get a postcard from them, $6 a month. We have some creators charging $12 a month, and their audience gets to subscribe. They get real mail, from that creator, whatever the creator wants to send. And they seem to love it. Our unsubscribe rate is really, really low. It's actually less than 5%. So that's been really cool to see.
I really love this product, man. That's why I wanted you in this launch day, because so uh not to make this all about me. I think sometimes I talk way too much about my own experience, but this time it's kind of like legit. Do you remember maybe what I was doing with Logology, where we were sending a postcard to every customer? Do you remember that?
I don't remember that part. I remember what Logology was, but I don't remember you sending
Yeah.
the postcard out. No.
So basically, every customer, we were writing by hand a note
Hmm.
on a postcard with a few stickers and sending him, but like by surprise. Like
Hmm.
we just asked them their billing address and we sent it to every billing address by default. And I remember and so we sent, I think, well, I guess 500 or 600 or, hundreds of cards.
Hmm.
And that was insane, the connection it created with people,
Yeah,
you know?
I believe it. I believe because I've been on the receiving end of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You
And
never forget it. Just don't get postcard.
people started sharing it on Twitter. They were also just writing to us, oh my God, you guys are crazy. Like, this is amazing. And this created so much goodwill, so much
Mhm.
positive, and that reminded me of that. And so like, I can vouch for the physical connection. Like, it just creates a completely different relationship with someone when they have a physical thing that comes from you. So that's what I really love about your product. I think it's really, really, I think it's going to be really useful for some people.
Yeah, I definitely agree. It's just a deeper connection. It's so hard. creators, what I heard from a lot of people on Patreon is like the pace is so fast. They got to produce so many videos, so many posts, so much content. This is different. You make a huge impact just with one letter every month, because if people hold it in their hands, it's pretty special. So,
And
yeah,
yeah, so the snail mail is actually positive in that case. Like that fact that it's a bit slow. That's
yeah,
interesting. I didn't think of it this way.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
slower, it's more intentional, and you only can I can only we only send once a month, so creators can send mail once a month. It takes, sometimes a week to show up. Some countries in Europe it takes like 2 or 3 weeks. I don't know why. I think the post is kind of slower, but
Shit. Yeah.
so you can only send it once a month. But the creators like that because they don't have to stress about like, on Substack, if you're going to make money on Substack, you got to be posting something multiple times a week. And that's just kind of a lot. People get started, they do it for a few months and then they just burn out. So this is different. It's once a month. We have some people that release like comic books or novels one chapter at a time. Those are
Oh,
really popular.
wow.
Yeah,
Amazing.
there's a lot
Yeah.
of ways to take advantage of kind of the slower pace.
This is so cool, man. So yeah, so what can you give us some examples? I'm just curious now. What are some things people are creating? How does
Yeah, there's a
I
lot
mean
of awesome creative.
I guess there's not a lot of magic to it. It seems quite straightforward in a way.
Mhm. Yeah, this is one of our more popular. She runs this author or this creator. She does like scrapbooking. She has a really cool, popular Instagram page. She shows people how to scrapbook, how to take elements from books or magazines that their newspapers that they're already
Yeah.
getting and create textures and things. And so she has I don't know tons and tons of subscribers. She sends out once a month patterns that people can take from the envelope and then put in the scrapbook that they're making. Um,
Wait, so how do you manage that on
She
your
just
end?
uploads. Yeah, I'll show you. She just uploads it once a month, and it looks like this. This is my StampFan. This is just a demo, so I don't actually I only have one subscriber on here.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but if I wanted to send, this is grayed out because I've already sent this month. But you click letter, postcard, booklet, whatever you're uploading, click next. It just shows you it's just an upload PDF. All you do is upload it, you click send, and it's sent out within that
Oh, so
day.
but you can have multiple pages, like because I assume just like
Mhm.
one page. So
Oh yeah, you can be letters, postcards, or booklets. Booklets are just piece of paper folded in half. You can be up to 12 pages. So, and the
so
letters
that's
can
what
be
she does. So people can cut out some special
yeah, exactly. They can
things.
cut out that exactly. So and then it shows you what your subscription fee is, your monthly payout, and then how many subscribers you have. This is my demo, so it only says one. But
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
a new feature that I really like too is kind of brings home the fact that this is like physical, is you can click on a subscriber map. We protect the subscriber's address, so it's not exact, but you can go see if you have. Some people have like hundreds and hundreds, and there's maps, pins all over the world. It's kind of cool to see where your mail is going every month.
100%. Wow. Wait, I'm writing down an idea because I want to put a map of LaunchDay users now.
Hmm.
Oh my God. Everything that goes back to reality, I think, is good. When you do, because we're so much online, every
Hmm.
time you can reconnect to reality in any way, like for example, showing a picture of you, just like very basic, but like putting a picture of your social media,
Yeah,
letting people hear your voice,
yeah, it
showing
makes a
where
big
you
difference.
are, like all of these things, it just connects us more.
Yeah, exactly. So this says we have loved by 300 creators. We actually have 500 creators now. Um, and like I said, there are all kinds of different people. People are writing, long form reflections, spiritual reflections, or philosophical reflections. They're making postcards
Yeah.
with their art. And then the booklet idea where people are sharing like their novel chapter by chapter. I'm really excited about that one. I think that's gonna be really popular.
Yes, that sounds like an indie way of releasing a book or something that could be very trendy and popular on social media.
Yeah, and you make more money too. So like with this, people are setting up their subscription. They're making 5, 7, and $9 a month. If you sold like, let's say you sold an ebook, physical ebook or not ebook, a physical book, you make like $10 one time from every
Yeah,
customer.
yeah.
This way, even if you're just charging $4 a month, it's a very low number, and you have 20 chapters. It's 4 times 20 per customer. So it's a lot more. You make a lot more money doing it that way.
Yeah, that's smart. That's smart. That's like, I guess, all these TV shows that have lots of episodes and that, in a way,
Yeah, they
uh,
just keep dragging it out.
yeah, yeah. So that there is definitely a trap there to avoid, but it can also be awesome. So, and also, some people also don't have time. So if you don't have time to read a book, just 1 month a chapter, you can be
Mhm.
looking forward to it. And that's a really cool way of distributing content. Wow.
Yeah, so I'm excited about that. I mean, I'm not the one that sets what people do with it, and I've had to be pretty flexible about, like I said, I started this for writers. It's transformed into something just for creators, a lot of artists.
Yeah.
So I've just had to see what people come up with. That's been the most fun part. Is like, I'll see some stamp fan somebody made, and it just blew my mind. Like I had no idea, anybody would have thought to do something like that. All over the place, illustrated essays, all this kinds of stuff. And yeah, so I just kind of follow the lead now with these customers. They have requests. If I like the idea, I'll build it. If I don't, I'll put it in the back burner. But it's been fun to just kind of get their perspective, their feedback.
And how did you get the first customers?
I reached out to some people that I knew. So I knew this actually, there's one person in particular that I thought of right away because she had a pretty good blog. Um, and she was posting like maybe once a month. And so I reached out to her. I was like, hey, what if you sent this by mail and charged for it? And she loved the idea. A few other people in a very similar situation. It was all blogs and writing. And
Yeah.
they liked the idea. It's again, monetizing your blog. You can't just send out one post a month. People, they expect a lot more. If you're using Substack, they expect a lot if you're going to be charging $6 or $7
And
a month.
for the also the algorithms, if you just post once a month, it's not enough. You're gonna get buried. So it
Yes,
doesn't work. It
exactly.
doesn't work as well online. So it's a different
Yeah.
type of content, I guess. You can keep your long form, special, physical form for this,
Hmm.
and your short form. Yeah. Wow, that's
Yeah, and
cool.
it's not, yeah, exactly. And there's no algorithm. So I wish I could had an algorithm that could recommend some of these to people, but I've learned that almost nobody just shows up to the site and picks somebody to subscribe to. These people are the best. They're the best marketers of their own stamp fan. So I don't even worry
Yeah.
about that. They promote it. I'm not going to get anyone to pay $10 a month to somebody just because I sent a tweet or something. So,
Yeah.
but they do a great job. I mean, the ones that are successful are really, really good at marketing themselves.
And I
They
guess
show
this
a lot of
helps you
pictures.
because everybody knows it's with StampFans. So I
Yes,
guess do,
yeah,
do
yeah,
you do you get
exactly.
a lot of referrals that way?
Oh yeah, totally. And probably half of our users are referral. They saw somebody
Yeah.
else doing it.
That's
They're like, "Oh, I
awesome.
want to do that." So that makes it easy.
And how did you set up I mean, you don't have to reveal any secrets, but like, seems a little bit intimidating to manage printing and everything and sending.
Mhm.
How did is there anything you
Yeah,
can say?
there's some pretty cool tools. So during COVID, I launched a micro product that got hit number 2 on Product Hunt, and it was that's how I learned how to do this. But you could send physical mail from a website, and there's a lot of
Yeah.
tools that they're connected to printers all over the world that do this. So it's complicated to set it up for this purpose. Most of them are for direct mail. So you upload a list of 10 50,000 addresses. You upload a piece of mail, you send it. That's what those tools are for. So I'm using that to send like, sometimes one at a time. That's not what it's built for, but I kind of
I
created
see.
a system that batches stuff together. But that's how it works. That's the actually one of the easiest part. And now I'm just focused on marketing, the brand.
Awesome. Yeah. Wow. So yeah, you're building on top of like more deeper tech, let's say, that just handle all the printing and
Hmm.
dispatching. Wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's making me think we should look beyond just basic, I mean, not basic, but like usual SaaS ideas. Because this is really cool. This is really different, really unique. Also, I love the design. Like, can you come back to the homepage? I love the design of everything.
Oh,
I
thanks.
feel
Yeah.
like so you did everything your own. You're just on your own doing all that.
Every single thing about this whole thing is all just me. Yeah. I don't even
Yeah,
think I ever want to hire anybody. So we'll see how far I can get.
that's awesome, man. Really cool. Yeah, really cool.
I use a lot of AI tools to make all this stuff. So
Like what, for example?
like these images are mostly, it's like these postcards and stuff.
Yeah,
I use different prompts and different, GPT or Grok or things to make
cool.
these images. But I use Canva all day too. Maybe a lot of creators are doing that now. They have Canva open
Yeah,
kind of constantly. So, but yeah, I mean, this is all me. I don't know some of the art stuff I'm not good at, but I like writing copy and stuff. So.
yeah, me too. I see. Yeah, that's cool. That's kind writing copy is cool because like it's so useful for everything. Like basically, I feel like writing copy is like design in the most pure sense.
Hmm.
Like, it's like getting an idea, explaining something, making someone understand something. I don't know.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like the most
It
interesting
refines
thing.
your thinking about it too. I mean, you really have to like you know, if you can't communicate it simply, you're not thinking about it right, I think.
Exactly, yeah. And like the process of writing is the process of clarifying your idea. Yeah,
Hmm.
100%. And it's cool because once you know how to write a little bit, it applies to everything, to marketing, to your product.
Yes.
Because if you can't explain your product, it's also maybe because your product is complicated,
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. Exactly.
Like, for example, with launch day, first launch day, I struggled so much to explain you need to share to unlock the discount and everything. And I got something a little bit clear, but not enough. And then after all the feedback of the first batch, I was like, okay, the problem is this idea in itself of sharing. That's the problem. It's like too complicated, you know? And so now for version 2, I'm simplifying.
Hmm.
So
Yeah,
really,
exactly.
yeah. Well, awesome, man. I'm really glad you were in this batch and, to see your products. That was really awesome.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Glad to be here. I love what you're doing. I think the design and the branding is really cool too.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate it, man. So